G'day team, I'm here at NDC Melbourne. Look at my cool shirt. And I have Jacob Bradford, who runs NDC. So I want to take you back to the beginning of the pandemic. I remember calling you and saying, is Porto going ahead? You said yes. And how bad was it for you? Like this is your lifeblood and it was completely shut down. We weren't allowed to speak like this. We weren't allowed to gather.
Yeah.
You would be creating a super spreader event if you ran their conference. And your staff, like how low was this?
Yeah, it was a big change, I'd have to say. So Shashti, the founder, my colleague, who's always, she's pessimistic about things, right? I'm optimistic. I usually think it's gonna plan. She told me before NDC London in January, she said, "Oh, have you seen this? You know, this is coming. This is gonna be big." And I'm like, "Oh, it's gonna pass." You know, I'm not worried. So until they closed us down, or basically just closed everything down, I was still optimistic. You know, as long as we're not shut down by government, we're gonna run as normal. You know, we're not gonna do anything that we don't have to do, right? And then once they did, then you're too occupied with finding solutions. You know, trying to make things work, to really worry about it. And then once you've kind of made things work and you moved everything to online, and you ran all those conferences that had to go online. Now you're starting to plan online conferences. That's when you realize, okay, we're doing something else now.
And how were those online conferences with everyone just on a Zoom call, well, a WebEx call for you guys? How was that experience?
I think it's like everyone else's experience. It's something, you know. We got together in one way, but it's totally different. It's not what we intended to do. It's not what we love to do, but we did it for a short while, and it was okay. You know, it wasn't great. It wasn't great for as organizers, you know, probably better than for speakers and attendees. Maybe attendees not so much. Some attendees probably liked it even. You know? And for the workshops, it wasn't too bad. You still get that skill up, you get that learning experience with a trainer there. But for the speakers, I think it was worse because you're giving, like speakers are doing, basically delivering all the content, right? And the trade-off is, so you deliver the content and we fly you around the world and you get this amazing conference experience and you meet other people and you get to see the audience, speak with people, network and grow your business, you know, things like that. And then suddenly you're just providing all the content and you're not getting anything back, like nothing. You don't even see the audience, you know. So I think you have a better sense of how that was than me, really, because
I went into my boardroom around midnight, did my talk to a light and a camera, got no interaction. And at the end, I finished my talk and go, I don't know, was anyone listening? It was sad. It was very sad.
It's really sad. And then you want the audience to keep their camera on, but then obviously nobody's going to keep their camera on for 8 hours watching it talks. You know, you don't do that. It's tiring as well. And you get like Zoom fatigue or Teams fatigue or whatever, WebEx fatigue, you know.
We're after the pandemic now. How does the conference look now? Is it different or it's the same?
It's pretty much the same, you know. The only difference is we now also stream. We always recorded all the talks. Now we're streaming it. We're putting it on our Slack workspace.
Yep.
So as an attendee, if you're not able to attend in person, let's say you test positive for COVID, right? So you can still follow all the talks, you know, on the Slack workspace and see the streams there. I think that's the biggest difference. Like we're ready to get back into it as normal. We're not doing as much hybrid because we don't see the online experience as good as the in-person. But if you wanna attend online, you can. Right.
Yep.
But you get the same ticket.
Right.
Okay. So we're not giving. You're not
encouraging remote.
NDC is supposed to be like, it's an experience. It's not just. It is. I mean, you need the great content. You need the good talks. You need all of that. But you also need to meet people in person and have the food and all that, you know, social element that is so important to having a successful event. That's what we want to deliver. And that's what we're focusing on, and that's why we're not going heavy on the virtual experience.
Yeah, you really
So-
nailed the entertainment and the food and you really nailed
Thank you.
kind of all that, like compared with all other conferences. I love it.
Hopefully that's what we care. We think that's where the kind of the magic is, where you're having a good time. During that week, you're having a good time, and that's what we want people to be excited about. Not only the content.
Yep.
And I think online, the only thing to get excited about is the content, right?
Yeah, that's right. Let's face it,
And-
they can get this content other places,
You
but
can.
not this experience that we've just had in the last couple of days.
And Slack helps. I mean, I think Slack's great. Everybody knows Slack and get the way around there. They can interact. And there's, some people find it easier probably to interact over Slack as well. And it's easier to kind of, introduce yourself to people. And so, but combining those is really good. That's maybe the biggest difference after the pandemic. Like we're now using, the Slack workspace, and people used to use Twitter more before, but it was kind of more maybe of a cool club. Whoever.
Yes.
Was following each other on Twitter, but now everybody's on Slack and everybody can communicate and get the same,
So,
information.
in terms of social media, how big is social media for you? Like, I've noticed you've gone hardcore into YouTube. Congratulations on that success. That's millions and millions of views. But are you going to be a TikToker? Which platforms have worked for you in the past, and what are you doing in the future?
So obviously YouTube is our platform, since that's where we do our videos from the talks, right? So we are looking to grow our YouTube channel. That's important. We see that people who see the videos, so that's free content that we put out there, that you guys put out there, the speakers. But that makes people come to the conference as well. That's usually the first experience you have with an NDC conference. You see a talk online on our YouTube channel, and then you realize, they have these conferences all over the place. I want to go to one of those.
So YouTube is drawing attendees.
It's drawing attendees, and that's the reason we're doing YouTube, right? So we have, like when we have a talk that gets 4 million views,
Yes.
right? That is also, there's a little bit of income to it, but I mean, not even close to the money that we put into making these videos and creating the
Right.
videos and doing that. So but it's definitely a bonus that there's some income from it as well. But the real advantage of doing that is actually getting people come to the conferences after.
So, if you're an attendee coming, what are they going to get?
Well, you're gonna get all these talks. Like you're gonna see what's trending. And you'll learn from. Hopefully, you learn from the best. You'll learn from international speakers that you wouldn't see otherwise. And you'll meet people. You'll meet people at the conference that you might never have met in person before. You'll have new ideas. You'll be inspired, and you'll hopefully have a great time doing it. So hopefully, it's going to be good for the businesses who's sending people, because people come back and they're inspired. They know a lot more. They know what's coming, and if you're doing the workshops, you actually leave with skills. You're skilling up. So. Hopefully that's what people get. I hope they're, inspired. Inspired. I hope they had a great time doing it, and I hope it's good for businesses that you actually get people that are more productive.
Yeah. Well, I'm always G'd up after a NDC conference. I've learned a ton. You know what my favorite part of Norway is?
No.
The cruise. Like you go through the fjords. You have your prawns. What do you call them?
Yeah.
The
Reker.
yeah, whatever they are. Beautiful food, great night.
You need to constantly change, keep moving. To stay relevant, you need to adapt to the new generations as well. And there's some exciting things that we're doing. So we have the conference that we do in the US, and this is Minnesota. Has always been, we run it twice, and we had lots of people for the workshops, not that many for the actual conference days, which is the other way around from all the other conferences. Usually it's the conference days that are most popular, and then the workshops are smaller. In Minnesota, it's different. So we're making that 4-day workshop event.
No way.
So it's just like deep dive workshops. So you can attend 4 days. It's going to feel like a conference, but you get that workshop content instead of the 1-hour talks. It's like a full day on this topic. You'll have 1, 2, 3, and 4-day workshops going, right? But it's still the breaks. It's still all the excitement of a conference. We'll start up with a keynote in the morning from big speakers, and we'll end with some keynotes for the day as well. So that's an interesting new format, and I'm very excited about doing, and seeing if that's successful, if that works. And we've got some interesting plans for Copenhagen as well. So Copenhagen is. Have you been to Copenhagen?
I've never done that one.
So Copenhagen is a fantastic city. You know, out of all the Scandinavian cities, and especially, you know, the bigger ones, Copenhagen to me stands out as the best. I mean, it has the best culture, has the best food, and all that. So where the conference venue is in Copenhagen is right there in like the meat packing district, Kjøttbyen, where there's like great food. It's just like the vibe is just amazing. So we want to kind of start building our NDC Copenhagen brand to be more like a festival for developers. Like, so we're looking into doing things differently. You know, having multiple venues during the week, combining it more with the food, more with the entertainment every day. So we're looking at doing a different kind of format for Copenhagen that I'm personally very excited about. You know, and see where that will go. And that would be something that possibly could work very well in Australia as well, and do more of a festival for developers.
Right. Okay.
Kind of merging over to, like, making that experience part of it even more important.
Thank you. It's awesome. I'm glad you run these, Jacob, and I really hope that Sydney and Melbourne keep panning out for you into the future. And I'm glad you're back after the pandemic.
Yeah, likewise. Thank you.
Cheers. All right. So that's Adam Kogan signing off for SSW TV.